Hi there, it's Kevin Ward with YesMasters Real Estate Success Training, and welcome to another episode of Interviews with the Best, where we interview top performers in real estate who not only make money, but also believe in adding value for their clients and having a life. And today we have a very special guest who is just finishing his rookie year as a real estate agent in Midland, Texas with Weichert Realty, Mr. Sam Garretson. Sam, thank you for joining me, man.
Hey, thanks for having me, Kevin. It's a pleasure to be here.
Oh, man, I tell you, it has been such an exciting thing to watch you, your first year in real estate. You and I have been together since the very beginning.
Yep.
Right. So tell us kind of, before we talk, we're going to talk a little bit about your background and all that, but tell us about how you kind of got started with me and where you were in that process, how we met, when we met, and how you kind of got started in real estate.
Okay. Well, the way me and you got started was kind of about 2 years into my actual real estate journey. So I had basically started out with wholesaling, and through the process of wholesaling, I met an individual who was actually in your coaching. I didn't know it at the time. And then I ended up getting a phone call one day from a broker, and the broker said, "Hey, somebody in my office thinks you might be a good fit." And I said, no way. No way. No way was I trying to be an agent. It wasn't even on my radar. I was really focused on investing and being a wholesaler, right?
Yeah.
So she called me up, and I kind of laughed it off. But I hung the phone up, and I had to really kind of face reality, which is I wasn't making my ends meet the way I wanted to. So I had to do something. And I was already in the game of real estate, and I basically a corporate type of this. So I really didn't want to go back looking for any other kind of job, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So, I started thinking about that phone call, and one thing led to the next. I went ahead and got my license, and once I passed my test, I went and signed up at the brokerage and met up with Jacoby, the guy that I was referring to earlier.
Yeah.
And, the broker said, "Hey, while you're waiting on your license, why don't you go do some of that Kevin Ward stuff with Jacoby? I think he's got one coming up in LA. He can probably get you a ticket." I said, "Oh, really?" I didn't know nothing about nothing. I was just trying to make a few extra bucks, help my investing career. I wanted to be able to run my own comps and make a little more extra money. So
Right.
that phone call came in, and I thought about it, called it back, signed up. Next thing I know, I'm in LA, right? $50 ticket, I couldn't pass it up. So bought me a plane ticket and a hotel, and next thing I know, I was sitting in front of you. And from there,
that was last summer.
Actually, July. Yeah, last July.
So that was last July, July of 2018. You had passed your real estate license exam, but you had not got your license yet. Is that correct?
Right. That's correct.
Okay. And you came with Jacoby Kendrick,
Mm-hmm.
who I did an earlier episode a few months ago with Jacoby Kendrick, also with Weichert Realty in Midland, Texas. That's how you guys met. That's how we met, was through Jacoby. And so you came out for one of our, which training camp was it at the time?
It was the Real Estate Vortex 2018. Yep.
Okay. So it came out for a 3-day training. All right. And so that's how we got started. So you were like brand new, didn't even have your license yet, and just got going.
That was it.
Awesome. And then what happened next?
My mind was blown, to say the least, man. When I sat in that conference and training, I guess you could say, I honestly couldn't hardly wrap my mind around what I was witnessing. The stuff that these guys were doing and the kind of people that they were. I could hardly comprehend it. It was so amazing, so awesome. I sat there literally in tears. I hid it, right? But I couldn't believe I was in such a place and had such opportunity in front of me. I mean, it all seemed legit, real, tangible, something that I was capable of or anybody would be capable of. And man, it floored me. When I left that training, like I was a new man. I didn't even have my license yet, but I saw some future that I'd never seen that I could grab before.
So what did you, so this is, I think this is, and this is really, I didn't mean to get this deep this fast, but I think this is really kind of deep here. What did you see that impacted you so much? Because it wasn't, I mean, I don't think it was so much about me. It was what you saw in other people there.
Right. Absolutely. It was, you've got, of course, you've got the inner circle and a whole bunch of people that are not in the inner circle that are just such top-notch players. I mean, when you're in the presence of greatness, I mean, proximity, you can't deny it.
Yep.
Literally, you feel it, you know it, it's in the air, and you actually have to be there to experience that 100%.
Awesome. So a lot of people come to these events, and a lot of people are in that proximity, just like you, and they walk in and they walk out, and they may do some stuff. They may add some business. They may make a little more money, but you came out and it changed your life.
It was a must, Kevin. I mean, I was basically in a kind of a dark place, and I didn't have an option. And when I saw going from struggling to thriving, if I follow these steps and do what these other guys have done, and nothing that I saw seemed like something that I couldn't do or attain. So that left me with, some real sense of, I don't want to say security, but faith and confidence that there was a lot of things possible here.
Yeah. Well, I think I'm really intrigued, and I think this is really, important for the audience, is that a lot of people see this and they're exposed to the same thing you're exposed to. They come to an event, they come to even my training camps, and they get all excited and they see top performers and they see top achievers, and they get inspired, and then they go back, and then within a month they're back in the old grind and nothing changes. But you came back home and everything changed for you. So my question is, why do you think it changed for you and it didn't, whereas it doesn't change for a lot of people? In other words, what was different about the way you took it? Because is it because you're that much smarter? Is it because you're that much better than everybody else? Why did it work for you? And when it doesn't work for everybody, what made it work for you?
I think part of the thing, and a lot of people pointed this out to me when I was there, is they said, you do not realize how lucky you are to be here before you know anything. My slate was clean. I didn't have a bunch of crap to fix and do differently. I was just like a blank slate, right?
All right.
So whatever you said to do, that's what I needed to go do. I didn't have to go change a habit,
Yeah.
And
so go ahead. So part of it was just you were like, you didn't have bad habits to unlearn, or you hadn't been taught a bunch of BS that you'd been doing and now you had to stop doing it. You were a clean slate, brand new. And it's like, tell me what to do and I'll do it.
Yep. Now don't get me wrong. We've all got our bad habits that we're going to have to overcome when we get into anything new, but I didn't have the realtor habits that maybe a lot of people who've been in the business a while have had ingrained into themselves,
Yeah. Okay. So what else? What else made it work for you?
I've never really chased the dollar. So when I got into this deal, of course I needed to make money, but I left a job where I was making good money, and my commitment at that time was to never chase a dollar. If I can serve people, help them achieve something, get from A to B, I'll be rewarded. So that's my approach. And I've always been so goal-oriented that I'm kind of trying to wrap my business model around that in itself. It's just helping people get to a goal. And I'm not sure if that approach is helping me or not, but I really feel like it has an impact on people. People feel it when you're coming from the right place. Mm-hmm. And I do not chase the dollar. I don't chase the dollar. I want to make a lot of dollars, but I'm not chasing the dollar.
I love it. It's something that I think is so powerful that the fastest way to make a lot of money is not by trying to make a lot of money.
Exactly.
The fastest way to make a lot of money is by doing something that adds a lot of value to a lot of people. And that's what it does. All right. So you started, your plan was not to be a real estate agent, right?
Not at all.
Originally, your plan was real estate investing. So tell us about kind of like what you were doing in real estate, because you said you'd had a couple years under your belt doing dabbling in real estate. So what were you dabbling in? Tell us about that. And then how that kind of molded or transitioned into doing real estate as an agent.
Okay. So I started out, like I said, wanting to get into investing. I wasn't sure how. I actually tried to buy a property before I had left my corporate job, and I just couldn't get approved. I didn't have the money in the bank to do it. Quicken Loans turned me down. You know, Wells Fargo shut me down, wouldn't give me home equity loan, and I just couldn't figure out how to scratch my way in. And I saw an opportunity to start a small business, in which I had always wanted to do. And I jumped on this shaved ice business. So I rebirthed this old shaved ice company that has been a staple around my town for like 25 plus years.
Really?
Just simply to raise money to buy my first property.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
so is this what you're doing full time now before real estate?
Well,
see, you have another job?
I was driving a big truck and delivering for Coca-Cola.
Okay.
At the time.
So you were a truck driver.
I guess you could say that. I was more of a vending route driver.
Okay.
I spent a decade filling up vending machines. I went from that to Coca-Cola, in which I drove the big truck for 2 years and made all those deliveries. But during that time, I was really, really, really getting that itch. And I was basically not leaving myself any options. I had to do something.
I love it.
Myself a crutch or something to eventually work for myself and not just be an employee for somebody forever. So I started that shaved ice business. I had big ideas around it. I was going to franchise them out and have, I mean, it literally, you know, this sounds funny, but it's the best, right? It's the best shaved ice from here to Hawaii, and I'll put money on that. So that being said, I had the confidence to build this business out. And, you know, I didn't know, there's a lot of things I wasn't sure of, Kevin. You know, I didn't know which way my life was going to go. I just knew I wanted to be an entrepreneur. I wanted to start getting into real estate. So I did that. That was going to lead to that, and that. Next thing I know, I realized I used that as a crutch. Okay. I finally quit working for somebody else. I used that shaved ice business as a crutch. And I soon realized that it was actually going to take more of my time than it was going to be worth if I was going to do the real estate, investing, wholesaling. I got to a point where I literally needed to make a choice. It was going to go this way or that way. Am I going to be a shaved ice magnate, or am I going to be a real estate investor? So literally 1 year in, we had a great year, super successful year. 1 year in, I made a hard decision to put that on the back burner and really focus on this real estate thing.
Really? So you did, so all this stuff I did not know about you before, which is really, I love this conversation, because every time I interview, even though like a lot of you're a coaching member. I mean, these are people that I feel like I know you, and then I learn all this new stuff. So I'm very intrigued by this. So, so you did that for a full year, full time, doing the shaved ice.
So it's seasonal, right? But we started before the season. We ran a whole season. And when that season was over, I realized that it was very time and focus intensive. And I was going to have to make a choice which direction I was going to go.
But you made good money in it the year you did it.
Right. Yeah, it was a complete success, man. Everybody in town was thrilled that this thing came back better than ever.
And then you're like, this is taking me the wrong direction.
Taking me the wrong direction. I looked at the big picture and I thought, you know, after 20 years of doing this, or 20 years of focusing on this, where am I going to be? And man, it was a hard decision. And I, you know, I closed it out with a little bit of debt left behind, but I just knew that I couldn't continue my focus there and succeed the way I want to succeed somewhere else. And
yeah, I think that is a really powerful principle of success. And that is that when people are double-minded, they tend to not do either one well. And you realized, I got to be single-minded. And right now you are being like, I want to do investing and I'm doing the shaved ice. I'm double-minded. I'm focused on trying to focus on two targets at once. And that doesn't tend to work very well. So you made the decision. You shut it down. What a step of faith, man. You shut it down. And then what? So
that all happened, you know, right after I jumped out on my own into entrepreneurship. And
so you have okay, to be clear, now you have no paycheck? Like you have no
paycheck,
job?
No job. So I had a few things going on for me. So my wife, She had a small house cleaning business, so she was
Okay.
cleaning houses.
Yep.
And, I actually, an old investor of mine that I had run into, which was really one of the biggest mentors and factors in me finally figuring out which direction I want to go in my life. This guy actually had some properties that were not being managed very well. So he had a big portfolio, almost half of it was sitting empty. He came to me and said, I need somebody. Can you help me out? So I was in a position where I had the shaved ice business that I was thinking hard about. I knew how to do handyman work, and I knew how to mow grass, and I wasn't going to let my bills go unpaid, right? But I could not continue to work for another man. I was to the point, Kevin, where now or never, if I don't light these boats on fire, I'm just going to sit here forever, So it got to that point where I had to light those boats on fire. And then this kind of transpired, things started coming together. This guy was the guy that I was going to trying to learn how to start investing. And he ended up needing a guy, right? So I stepped up and started taking care of his properties just for him as a sole owner. And soon realized that I could only take that so far. So, I needed to get my license to expand upon that.
Yep.
Expand upon basically any other way to make income for myself other than doing handyman work, mowing grass, or going to get some other job that I didn't want. So that it all just kind of led me into realizing that getting my license was my next step. And I didn't realize what route I was actually going to end up on with that until I found myself in Los Angeles listening to you, and then all the dots started to connect, right?
Right. So even when you were getting your license, your main motivation to get your license was actually property management, helping this and investing.
Right. So I was helping that guy. I wanted to get my license so I could move forward with that and expand upon that if I needed to.
Yep.
And just to help with, to learn the game of real estate even more than I already was. And I just felt like if I had my license, I'd have my finger on the pulse a lot more. And of course, I could probably make a few more dollars and not have to pay another agent to do a deal,
Right, right. Okay, so now once you got your license, what did you, how did this, tell us about the decision or kind of how you charted your course between selling real estate and investing? Because in the last year, you really focused on selling real estate. So have you given up the other stuff, or is that still in the plan? What are you thinking now? What are you doing now? And what are you thinking?
Investor first, realtor second. That's my mindset.
That's your mindset.
All right. And I'm never going to let that go because I will retire from being an agent as soon as possible. All right. And it was nice to meet old Mike Wolf. He's such an inspiration, right?
Absolutely.
And so definitely still in my game plan. I slowed down. I bought a couple properties in those first 2 years, and I got behind on a few things. So I basically needed to do some catching up. So in this last year, since I got my license, it's been catch-up mode, get to where I'm in a position so I can continue investing. I had big plans. I got behind on my investing plans, but I'm still right here at the gate, getting myself in a position ready to blow through it just as soon as possible.
All right. So your plan has been and now continues to be, I got to make money so that I can invest in real estate, so that I can have money. I'm working for money so that I can invest in real estate, so money will be working for me.
That's right.
So that's been your plan. So even selling real estate and adding value to other people is a means to an end of being able then to build your real estate portfolio and eventually retire from selling real estate so that you can be a full-time real estate investor.
100%.
Or financially free.
Yep. And I feel like I'm in a hurry to get to that point because I feel like I can even affect more people and help more people once I get there. So the more people I can help in a hurry right now, the quicker I can help more people as soon as possible.
Love it. So do you mind sharing? So your goal is to get financially free as fast as possible, right? Mm-hmm. Do you mind sharing with the audience your financial freedom date, or is that too personal?
Honestly, it's by 40. It's by 40. So
right.
I've got,
how long you got? Do you mind?
I got about 3.5 more years. All right.
All right. I love it. You've now gone public, my friend.
Yep.
So your goal is to be financially free in 3.5 years.
Yep.
And then you can sell real estate as long as you want to. You can quit real estate. Now you've got the option of doing what you want to do.
That's right.
Which is one of the things that we train in YesMasters is we teach you how to make money and have a life, which means creating financial freedom, which is not really taught that much in real estate, in my experience. In over 20 years of real estate, nobody talks about getting financially free. And then like you met Mike Wolf, who's one of my best friends. It's also a former realtor that's financially free and been financially free for years. So I love that. All right. So now let's go back to your first year in real estate. You've been in for 15 months now. You started in last August. You got your license last August, 2018, which as we're recording this, that's 15 months ago.
Correct.
Right. Okay. So, you started full time in August once you got your license, and tell us about your first year.
So
How it started. Tell us how it went. Yeah.
All right. It started out fun. Started out real fun and actually kind of slower than I expected. So, I thought, man, I'm going to get 10 deals in 100 days. That was my goal. And I just knew I was going to do it. All right. I was committed. I was ready. Scared shitless, but committed. Right.
Right.
And it didn't work out. It didn't work out that way in my 100-day challenge. I had a few deals that fell apart. I had my first listing, actually went under contract, and that deal fell apart. And I think I closed like one buyer deal within the 100-day challenge. So, I learned a ton during boot camp, AKA the 100-day challenge.
Yeah.
But it didn't seem to be paying off at the time, but I wasn't concerned because I was disheartened because I wanted to put numbers on the board and money in my pocket, but I knew that something big was happening slowly.
Yeah.
Right? So the framework was getting put in place. The confidence was building, learning what to do, what to say, when to say it. All those things were being embedded into me. I just didn't quite have the execution yet. So, I got out of the 100-day challenge and things just kind of came together for me a little bit faster in the next few months.
Yeah.
And, I've done quite a bit more this year than I did on those first few months last year.
All right. So let's go back here because you've kind of become a legend in YesMasters training because on day 50 of the 100-day challenge, you sent me an email. You remember that?
Oh, yeah. And here's where I was, Kevin. You ready?
I'm ready.
All right. So 50 days in.
Okay, so first, go back to the context here. The goal was you're going to do 10 deals in the first 100 days of your business.
That's right.
And we're on day 50, and you sent me an email. Okay, so go.
And I was basically at a point where I'm thinking, I'm in too deep if I'm not going to be a full-time agent because this training, this program is for the dead serious. Dead serious. If you're not dead serious, you're in the wrong place. Literally. There's really no other way to put it. I was there and I felt like, you know what, I'm not sure. I think I just want to be an investor. I just want to, manage this property and make a few more dollars. I never wanted to be one of the best agents. It was never on my radar. Never wanted to be in competition with anybody in town. I just wanted a way to make a few extra bucks and help my investing business, right? So 100 days in, I'm thinking, man, this is crazy. This is the real deal. And if I don't want to be this type of agent, I'm in the wrong place. So what's it going to be, Sam? Am I going to move forward with being like a quote unquote the best agent, one of the best agents type of guys? Or am I going to just say, you know what, that I made a wrong choice. I really never should have got on this road because that wasn't what I was intending to be. Right. I just needed to know what to do with this real estate license. So you responded to me and said, well, what are your goals? And just that question alone, I had to think about it. And I look at my goals and I think, well, how fast am I getting to these goals without being an agent? And how fast would I get to these goals by being an agent? And what's funny to me, with wholesaling and being an agent, there's kind of a similarity. So with wholesaling, you take a property, you help somebody by finding somebody else to buy it from them, whether it be you or another person. All right. Now, during that process, you're taking on a lot of responsibility because you're telling them you're going to buy it from them.
Yep.
Now, with being an agent, it's almost the same. But you don't have to tell them the BS that you're going to buy it from them and then go try to find somebody else. You're saying, let me help you. I'll find you somebody to buy this property, and at the end of it, I'll take a cut. To me, wholesaling was almost the same. You know, there might be some bigger cuts doing a wholesale deal, but there's some pretty big cuts if you're doing regular real estate too, right? So, I don't know, Kevin. It was just going down that wholesale route with scratching and clawing.
Yeah.
And I didn't do too many deals. You know, I probably had 3 or 4 successful deals throughout the course of a year and a half, almost 2 years, and it was just literally scratching and clawing, dealing with a whole bunch of distressed people and distressed situations.
Yeah.
And I backed up and said, if that was my goal, to do a whole bunch of that, what if I could do a whole bunch of this where I'm actually like helping people get to something that makes them happy and excited and moving on with their life and doing something that actually means something to them other than just trying to beat a foreclosure.
Right.
So
Wow.
so I got excited about that, and I thought, man, I can help people do something that's fun and happy. I like people. I like people to smile and be joyful, right? And dealing with distressed properties, that's a whole another monkey.
It is that, and there will be a day coming when the market turns where we will all be dealing with a lot of distressed people again. That's just the nature of real estate.
Right.
Because I remember when I first started real estate, it was years before 2007 when the first big market crash came in my business, but it was different. It changed everything. Okay, so you at day 50, you sent me that email basically saying, I think I'm going to quit. I mean, you were like, I don't know. So you didn't quit. You finished the challenge. You'd only closed 1 deal when your goal was 10. So you literally only hit 10% of your goal. So how did you maintain how'd you pull through the frustration and the sense of what could be perceived as a failure of only hitting 10% of your goal? What kept you going? Because you didn't quit. What kept you going?
I just knew, Kevin, you know, despite not having the results and the points on the board, I knew everything I was learning was true, correct, righteous, and it would all come into play. I mean, you know it. There's no BS in it, literally.
Yep. Totally. So you just kept doing the work.
Just kept doing the work. I never felt like any of what you were showing me was the reason I wasn't putting points on the board. I knew it was all on me. It was basically my lack of confidence or execution, which I knew I would get better at.
Yep. Okay. So after the 100 days, how long did it take you to start closing some deals where you're like, okay, now I'm seeing some results? How long did it take you?
I think the following, really at the start of the turn of the year, things really started to pick up for me.
So that'd have been 5 months.
Yep.
Took 5 months?
About 5 months, things started to pick up for me.
So from August to December last year, how many deals did you close in 2018?
4 deals.
Okay, so you closed 4 deals in your first 5 months.
Right. First 4 months was.
First 4 months, okay. Yeah. So in your first 4 months, by 4 months, you were basically now averaging a deal a month.
Yep.
So that was making you enough money that you were surviving. Is that right?
I don't even know if I could say that. You know.
Okay, so you weren't quite surviving. What's that?
It wasn't where I wanted to be.
No, for sure. But it was enough to say, okay, I think I got this. This is going to work for me.
Right.
So, and this is, I think it's just important for especially new agents to understand that, by the way, your starting was very similar to mine in the first 100 days. In my first 4 months, I closed 1 buyer. And it was Adam and Christy Bramlett, Sunday Street in Haltom City. $50,000 was the house they bought. It was my first deal. And it was about 4 months in before I did my first deal. I had a listing that I had not sold yet, but I had a listing and they were my first buyer. That was my first transaction. And it took me about 4 months to do it. And it was after that things started picking up and really taking off. So in that respect, you and I, our similarity was very much. And the other thing that was very similar was you, during that first 4 or 5, 6 months, you were working your butt off. Every day you were prospecting. You were doing the lead generation. You were doing the lead follow-up. You were following the system. You have to be in the 100-day ListMaster challenge that you were in. So you were doing the work and you didn't quit. even though you got discouraged, even though you had second thoughts about, is this the right path? You stayed the course, and you believed, if I stay the course, it'll work. And I'm trying to dig down and get some nuggets of what is it that made you successful. And I think one is you had this belief in the system. If I just do it, it will work. And belief in yourself that I can do this. And this determination, this grit that says, I'm not going to go work for another guy. I'm going to work for myself. You had that entrepreneurial mindset. And another big part of this was that you were doing it with the belief that I am committed to serving other people, not just making money.
Yep.
Anything I missed?
Absolutely. No, I mean,
key elements?
I think the only other key element is behind all my dreams, man. Like, I've been pent up at the gate, dreaming for a long time, feeling like I should have been closer to a lot of them a long time ago. Mm-hmm. So, pent up at the gate for my dreams. That's a big one.
I totally agree, man. So you've always had big dreams.
I haven't always known what they were, Kevin.
Yeah.
I mean, I look back to junior high, and it goes back to when I was being a bad kid in the 8th grade, and they put me in alternative education for half of a year.
Okay, so go on.
Yeah, I spent half a year in a cubicle in the 8th grade, and I'd just sit there and I'd do my work, and then I'd just think, and during that time, I just started writing things down that came to me that had significant meaning or had anything goal-oriented around it. And I go back to that point because I've been doing it as far as I can. That's about as far as I can trace it back, but I've been doing it ever since. So anytime something compelling, inspirational, motivational, wrapped around success or improving ourselves, if I hear it, I'm just a sponge for it, but I have always I was supposed to. I really, to this day, don't know for sure why I've been supposed to capture all this stuff, but I've been capturing it.
Wow.
And over the years, it's just kind of ingrained into me, and it's who I am. And in my mid-20s, Kevin, I got real unhappy and miserable at the job that I was at. Didn't know how to get out. I was in that position that a lot of us have found ourselves in.
Yeah.
I'm making good money. I'm respected at my company. I could probably stay there until I die.
Yeah.
But saw nothing there that compelled me, and there was zero light at the end of my tunnel.
Wow.
And
so you
personal development. That's it. Personal development, Kevin. I've been on the personal development stuff since 8th grade, and in my mid-20s, Kevin, it was my lifesaver. Right? It was.
So you were in alternative education in a cubicle as a problem child.
Yeah.
So most people would not call that personal development. But you took that, you're sitting there and basically pulled out of a regular classroom setting. Like, did you do naughty stuff or? Like,
I was kind of a troublemaker. I cut up in class and yeah.
You're such a nice guy. I can't really see you that way. But anyway, okay. So
I came a long way, Kevin.
Well, here's what. So there was always. It seems to me like, and I remember you sent me. I don't know if you've messaged me or you sent me one time a picture, a screenshot of one of your journal pages, where from junior high when you were in that detention thing or whatever it's called, and I just remember looking at this and I'm like, here's a guy who had this belief even in junior high that there was always, you were meant for something big. And I think that's pretty telling, that people who do something big tend to have a belief that they were meant to do something big. What are your thoughts? What do you think on that? It
becomes an obligation. It's something that is inside of you that you can't even deny. Mm-hmm. And when you have it to the point of it being an obligation, that's when I think that there's more to it, and you should be pursuing it.
Yeah.
And for me, it actually has become somewhat of a liability, because feeling like there was something I was supposed to do with all of these things that I'm feeling in ways that I am, but not knowing what to do with it, put me in a very, very, very dark, black place that I never thought I'd find myself. And that is what led me to seriously diving into like real personal development in my mid-20s, which, you know, consisted of Tony Robbins, Jim Rohn, Les Brown, all these guys, you know, teaching that kind of stuff. And thank God it was out there, because I found it, and it literally saved my life. I mean, I never dealt with depression or anything like that, but I really found myself in something that is basically referred to as situational depression. And I just needed to change my situation. And when you let these things go on over time, over years, year after year after year, it can destroy you.
All right.
We're meant, Kevin, we're meant to follow these things, because when you don't, they burn you down, man. That fire inside will burn you down if you don't pursue it.
Well, I just think, and you know, and this is something that I teach, that I believe strongly, is that every single one of us were meant for greatness. I think you were designed for greatness from birth. And when I meet somebody like you, I see somebody who comes in and does great achievement their first year in the business. There's one universal trait. It's not the people that are that have the sales training or the best background, or they're the most powerful communicators, or they're the best looking, or they have the most money. You look at what is the trait, the character traits of people that are massively successful versus those who aren't. And one of the things that I see across the board, and including in you, is, and not to say that you're not great looking and all of that, but I see that there is this belief that I'm here to do something great. You can never achieve above your belief of yourself. And I know there's a lot of people watching this, that are going to be watching this, that have not, they're in a dark place. And you said, when I started real estate, I was in a very dark place. And the dark place is simply your awareness that this is not my destiny. This is where I am right now, but it's not where I want to stay. It's very uncomfortable. It's very miserable. But it's part of it is just like sitting on a hot rock. It's got to be, when you know you're doing something great, that's hot enough, it burns you into action. So there's that push to do that. And a lot of people watching this have that sense that I know there's something out there. There's something, I'm meant for something. And I'm so upset right now. I'm so mad because things aren't going the way, and they're frustrated. They're discouraged. It may feel like a depression, that it may feel like a very dark place, but it's simply that discontent with the way things are and the way that you know they should be.
And that's such a beautiful thing, because that shows you the contrast between where you are and where you want to be.
Totally. So I love that you were not comfortable being mediocre. You're like, I got to be here. And so for those that are watching this and feeling that, you're right where you should be. It's just because it's a signal that something is meant out there for you, and you just got to go find it. And you got to be willing to do the work, because now you did the work. So now back into the real estate, let's just rehash. So your first 12 months in the business, now you're 15 months in right now as we watch this. In your first 12 months, GCI, do you remember about what your GCI was after your first 12 months? And I'm talking about including the first 100 days where you just sucked. What was first year?
First year was probably right around 200.
Right around 200,000 in Midland. Now we're talking Midland, Texas. We're not talking Beverly Hills. We're not talking Miami Beach. We're not talking the high end where you sold $3 million houses. We're talking about, you did a lot of deals to get that. Now you're 3 more months, you're 15 months in, you are with Weichert Realtors, nearly 7,000 agents nationwide. You're in the top 1% of your company nationwide of nearly 7,000 agents. You're in the top 1% in basically in a year. Correct?
Correct.
Dude, that's huge. And how many people are there in your city that make $200,000 a year, especially to make it in 1 year in a new career?
Right.
Now, I mean, there's not many places you can go do that. Do you think other agents can do that? Are you a fluke? Is it luck? Is it connections? What allowed you to pull down that kind of income your rookie year in basically in a rural city?
No, I think anybody can do it. There was nothing special about any of the things I did. You know, to me, it's just been keeping your head down, trying to stay relentless, and, you know, working every nibble you get, trying to convert it into a fish in the boat, right?
Yeah.
Because there's a difference in fishermen. Some fishermen get a nibble,
Yeah.
and they're just not as good as getting that nibble, turning that nibble into a fish in the boat. And that's kind of what I've learned, and that's one of the ways that I feel like I've progressed. When I started, I knew how to get a nibble, and I've been taught the things to do, but there's just something about doing it. You know, once I started doing it and got into it, my conversion rate got higher. I felt more confidence, which of course leads to the conversion rate. But there's nothing I did special. It's just working hard, taking everything you can, grabbing it, and really trying to convert every single lead that you get. Because I feel like a lot of people may not even know what they want or where they want to go. And like you teach, it's our job to lead somebody to a decision. Now, you can lead something out of their mind that they haven't even really accessed yet.
Right. So where did you get where are you getting your business? Over the first 12 months, you did 30 something deals, right? Is that right?
Yeah.
So where did you get all those deals?
So about 50% of my business was just straight up from prospecting, my PC, and people that have been referred to me through that prospecting. About another 25% of it has been like office leads that I've gotten through the office. And then I'd say the other 25% has been probably for sale by owners. Rough numbers there, but it's been a mix of that.
So about half of your business comes from people that you already knew, prospecting them. So tell us about that. So you actually take the people that you know and you actually prospect them. How do you prospect them? You call them, you email them, text them, knock on their door, take them to lunch. What do you do?
So really it's just a matter of keeping TOMA with everybody, top of mind awareness, like you teach. And with that, you know, whether it be calling, keeping top of mind awareness through Facebook, text messaging, you know, those are my three main things that I'm doing. And right now I'm starting to up my email contact. So that's kind of where I'm at in growing my business right now.
Are you calling people consistently?
Yes.
Okay. And so 50% of your business comes from that. 25% come from office leads. That's just something that like the company gives you leads.
So I was originally set up with my broker to take her Zillow leads and work her Zillow leads. So we called that shared Zillow. So I was doing her shared Zillow for a while, and then there was another lead generation system that she got me set up through the brokerage. And those two things right there were giving me some deals. Now, I made a conscious decision to cut that out of my business because I was just basically paying thousands and thousands of dollars to have somebody hand me the leads, in which I know I can go out and create my own business if I do the work, right?
Yeah. So you don't do that anymore?
No, I mean, I do still have my own Zillow, but I got off of her Zillow and I got off of that other lead gen system.
Yep. Okay. So was that something she does for everybody in the company or just that was your deal?
Yeah, she offers it to all new agents.
Yeah.
And I think Jacoby, you kind of went through the same process where you start out with some paid leads.
Yep.
And he even told me you get to a point in your business where you don't want that anymore. And then you get to another point in your business where you can reincorporate it back in.
Okay. So because a lot of agents have companies that give them company generated leads. You actually converted that into good business. Why were you able to convert that when a lot of agents aren't able to convert office company leads? Why do you think you had success with that?
One thing that I have got a lot of since I started is people tell me I'm different than the average agent. I don't
Okay.
know if it's, I just be real, you know, for lack of a better term. I don't try to butter anything up. I don't try to sell people anything. You know, I'm a tour guide basically. You know, I'm helping these guys find what they should look at, and I'm helping them see it as a buyer's agent or as a seller's agent. You know,
Mm-hmm.
kind of the same thing. But uh, yeah, I don't know, Kevin.
All right. So if of the deals you did your first year, what percentage was buyers and what percentage was listings sold? You know?
The first year was definitely more buyers.
Mm-hmm.
Before I made that conscious switch. Now, the reason I made that conscious switch because I wanted to literally focus hardcore 100% on being a seller's agent after everything I've learned through your coaching. So before I made that switch, it was more buyers. So I probably did maybe upwards of 60, 75% of buyers in my first year. And just there's been a huge shift. So I've got a lot more sellers in my hand now since I made that conscious decision.
Yeah. Nice. Awesome. And you have, how many pendings do you have right now? How many deals do you have pending?
I've only got 3 in pending right now. And I've got 3 on the market, 2 fixing to hit the market. So things have actually kind of slowed down here for us, but you know, time to crank up the work.
So you've got 3 pending transactions. You got 3 listings active and 2 more coming. Correct. So you got 5 listings that are not even sold yet.
Right.
3 of them are on the market and 2 of them are getting ready to come on the market.
Yep.
But
and now if you count everything, it's 45 transactions total, including sold plus the under contract and about to hit the market.
Nice. Very, very cool. All right. So let me just kind of look here. You've said some things I really, really like. I want to make sure that I've covered everything. I want to go back to just relive the first 15 months. And if you were to do it again, what would you tell Sam Garretson 15 months ago that you wish you had known back then that you didn't know? The things you missed. What did you miss that looking back say, man, I wish I'd have known this. I wish I'd have been, if I could have told myself this, what would you have told yourself?
Starting out, I probably would have liked some more clarity with myself on the 100-day challenge as to basically what I figured out 50 days in, that even though I didn't intend to be some top producing agent, that this is really the fast track to where I actually do want to be. That would have helped me clear out a lot of crap in my head. Mm-hmm. Those first 50, of course, would have been. And so I'm sorry, go ahead.
So if you're going to do real estate, do it 100%, all in, clarity, get your goals and go get them.
That's right. And I hear people asking, I see the typical, should I do it part-time? Can I do this part-time? And I say, no way. Anything that you're thinking that you're going to go do with another portion of your time, that time will be 100% better spent in real estate, on your business, trying to find deals, prospecting, cleaning up your business so it runs smoother. Yeah. I just feel like, part-time money is alluring whenever you don't have much going on. But I really feel like if you're going to spend 4, 5, 6 hours somewhere else at another job, that money, it's golden to spend that in your real estate business, and it will pay off way more, maybe tenfold or more of any money you can make on some other part-time job.
Yeah. Just got to be willing to give yourself the time for it to kick in.
You got to know that when you make those kind of commitments, it's called jumping, right? And sometimes when you jump, you go down in the ditches in the trench for a while. But you got to know that when you're down here, you knew you were going to be here, but you committed to yourself when you were here that when you were down here, you were going to know that you'd be here to keep going this way because it's the same distance that way or that way, right?
Wow. That's really good. All right. So if somebody was, let's go back now to when you were new, somebody is brand new now, they're watching this video, they're brand new, or they haven't had the success. They're, kind of just getting started. What would you tell them that are the keys to your success? What should they do? Like, I'm a brand new agent. Tell me 3 or 4 or 5 things that you're like, you got to do this to succeed. If you're going to succeed in real estate, you want to make $200,000 your first year in real estate, this is what you got to do. What would you tell a new agent they got to do to make 200,000 or more their first 12 months in the business?
Show people that you're different and you're not chasing a sale. When you put people's needs first, I believe that you just go so much further with them. They're going to want to work with you. They're going to continue the process. They're going to close the sale with you. I feel like that has a huge impact on me versus maybe another guy. It's just, I'm just straightforward. I don't bullcrap nobody.
Yep.
I don't have any reason to. I don't believe that'll lead me to success, right? So I don't do it.
Okay, what else? So first, be in it for other people, not yourself.
Right.
Okay.
Push past your current capabilities. You know, everything that you think you can do, go a little bit further. Because if you just grab for what you can do, you might reach that. You damn sure won't reach any further. But if you reach past what you're pretty sure or capable or confident that you can do, you're always going to hit that, and then you're going to go a little bit further. And that's how we inch along.
All right. Awesome. So push yourself beyond your limits, stretch yourself. What else?
Don't hold back, man. Nobody wants a half-assed version of you, you know, and don't beat around the bush with people. People, you know, you ask anybody, you know, would you want me to beat around the bush with you? You know, the answer is always no. Mm-hmm. So I guess that kind of goes back to rule number one, which is just being straightforward with people.
Awesome.
It floors people. They're not used to it. They're used to being sold.
So were you asking like people, even when you were brand new, were you asking people for business?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So what do you say to a new agent that goes like, well, I need to prove myself first? And how do you deal with that?
You know, it goes back to that objection handler as a new agent, which is I may not have all the experience, but the focus that you're going to get from me, there's no comparison to that you're going to get from another agent. I mean, it'll offset itself, and you can promise people that the focus that you'll get from me, because I'm not spread thin, you'll have a better result than some big top agent that is barely talking to you.
So you're not afraid to ask, even when you're brand new, you're asking people that you knew, give me business. Who do you know? What Definitely. Can I do to help you?
Yep. And when you have credentials with people that you've known in the past, they're going to know what kind of guy you are. Mm-hmm. So if I call somebody up, they didn't know I was in real estate, but they know I'm a pretty legit dude. So, you know, build credentials with people over time. And when you go to cross that bridge, the bridge is already there, you know, because, you know, you've been thinking ahead for quite some time. And I've always tried to build bridges with people and before I know why I'm going to cross them.
Awesome. So how do you like, if somebody or a new agent were asking about a schedule, what do I do? What do you do? What does a regular day look like for you?
So it goes back to the focus zones that you teach. Basically before noon is focused business, building, generating new leads, and nurturing the existing leads that you have. So those are your focus zones. Of course, before that, I got ahead of myself, but mornings are critical. You know, I believe that you have to be right. If you're not on point, you cannot serve the world. You know, it's almost cliche nowadays. We're hearing it a lot, but, you know, like in the airplane, put your mask on first. If you don't have oxygen, you ain't going to do no good for anybody else, not for long anyways.
Yep.
So I really believe in, what do you call it? The fire zone, the morning.
Yep.
You know, that's everything. If you're not good, your business is junk. Your business follows you like a tail. So we need to make sure we're good. If we're good, I mean, if you want things to get better, right? And when we focus on ourselves in the mornings and we walk out of our focus zone fired up, our fire zone fired up,
yep,
we have an inertia and we're going to release that inertia on somebody.
So you have a strong morning ritual that gets you fired up for the day.
Yep.
Every morning. And do you mind sharing what that consists of?
It's kind of all over the place, Kevin, as far as what I do. All right. I've got different things that I do, but to me, it's just in the morning. You know, it's not as strict as some others might be, but to me, it's just in the morning, do all these different things, any variation of these different things, types of exercise that I do. I listen to empowering audio. Just it's a matter of getting the gears turning in my mind and in my body, because when they're turning in your body, the mind comes second. You know, that's how I feel. The mind kind of follows the body.
So you get fired up in the morning, and then you start your day, and in the morning is prospecting.
Yep.
And lead follow up.
Prospecting, lead follow up, and afternoon, after lunchtime, that's when I worry about all the knick-knack to-dos and listing appointments and showings. And so I really try to honor before 12 is, you know, that's when you're at home. That's where you make your money, right? That's planting the seeds. You can harvest them later. And to me, Kevin, I don't care how many deals I close in a day. If I close 4 deals today, but I didn't plant any seeds, I don't feel complete. I'm not happy. There's something missing. And, you know, I've got a lot of imperfections myself. And that's one thing that I try to tell myself is you got to plant these seeds, because it doesn't matter what you harvest, Sam. You didn't plant the seeds, you didn't do your day's work.
Love it. Yep. That's what you do in the morning is you're planting the seeds. You're sowing the seeds. You're generating business, talking to people, building the relationships, finding who you can help.
Yep.
That is awesome. And I love the fact that you have such high expectations of yourself, and that kind of shows up in the way that you show up. A year after getting your real estate license, you already were able to join the inner circle. So you're one of our newer members in the inner circle. Congratulations. It was great to have you and your wife join us at Park City, Utah, for our last inner circle mastermind.
Yeah, that was great.
That was awesome to get to see you guys there and just kind of see how your life has changed over the last 12 months. What do you see? What's next? What's for Sam Garretson? What's your future look like?
So I'm ready to move, Kevin. A big part of our life right now is we really want to get out of this city. You know, nothing against this city other than the fact that we don't like it. We want to do something different, man. We've been here our whole lives, and we're nature lovers at heart. And there's a whole lot of world to see and experience other than this little patch of desert. We put in our time here, and I think in the next year and a half, we're going to go ahead and pack up and go find another place to put some roots down. Yeah. But in the meantime, it's build the business, do as much as I can so that I can go ahead and be in a position to actually reach these goals.
Yeah. That's amazing that you do not see yourself as a victim of like, I'm stuck here and like, I'm taking life by the horns, taking charge and going for it. That is awesome. Well, so any last words of wisdom that you want to share with all the real estate agents that are going to be watching this?
If they're considering your coaching, I'd say they're in the right place, especially if they made it through this far. I think they should go ahead and move forward if they're on the fence, because there's just no comparison to what you can do when you have structure, when what can be done is right in front of your face. Yep. Literally tangible, the numbers, the people, it's real. And with your coaching, it was all real. And the reason that I gravitated towards your training is, I don't know if you want to admit it or not, Kevin, but you're a life coach before you're a real estate coach. And I think that's so awesome. And it goes back to, we have to be able to take care of ourselves first, because you can go learn everything you need to know about real estate, but if you're not right, what's it worth?
Yep. Yeah. Thank you for that. I appreciate it. So if somebody wants to get in touch with you, if they got a referral for Midland, Odessa, for West Texas, Midland, Texas, Odessa, Texas, how do they get in touch with you?
You can reach me on Facebook. I've got a business page, Sam Garretson at Wykert Realtors of the Permian Basin. So you can reach me there. You can just reach me directly, Sam Garretson.
All right. So they can find you online. That is awesome. Well, Sam, I am so grateful for not only for the time that you've spent with us today and for sharing all this great stuff, which is awesome for everybody that's going to be watching it, but also just watching you and your journey, watching the fruit that you have put on your tree that is changing your life, changing your family's life. You're changing the lives of all the clients and stuff that you get to represent, because that's the way you approach it. And I really respect and appreciate that. Watching you come through the moments of struggle and the victories that you've had, I think is just a kind of a foretaste of the great things that you're going to do in your future. And I have zero doubt that greatness is coming for you. Lots of it.
All right.
So thanks for your time, man. Appreciate it. Great to have you on. And thanks for everybody for watching. If this video helps you and you like it, make sure you give it a thumbs up. If you have any questions or comments for Sam or for me, you can post those down in the comments section below. Subscribe if you haven't done that. Share this with other agents, especially rookies who are committed to really having great success their first year. I think they can learn a lot from Sam. So again, Sam, thank you. And we'll look forward to talking to you soon.
All right. Thanks, Kevin.
Thanks, everybody.